Welcome back to World Information HD, where we uncover the hidden treasures and coins you may have walked past without even realizing their true worth. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the United States of America 1950 D mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. This small copper coin, struck more than 70 years ago, has fascinated collectors for decades. You may have seen one in a jar of old pennies, or perhaps it has been sitting unnoticed in your pocket change collection. But once you learn what makes this coin so special, you'll never look at a Lincoln cent the same way again. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series is one of the most collected coins in America, and the 1950 D wheat penny has a special place in this history. Let's take a journey back in time to understand what makes it unique, what eras make it even more desirable, and why collectors today are willing to pay extraordinary amounts of money for the finest examples of this humble cent. To begin, we need to step back to the year 1950. The United States was entering a new decade, a time when the scars of World War II were fading but the tensions of the Cold War were growing. Families were settling into suburban neighborhoods, children were watching the first black and white television programs, and the American economy was on the rise. Amidst this backdrop, the Denver Mint was busy striking hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. Among these, the 1950 D wheat penny was born. The coin itself is crafted from an alloy of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which gives it that rich reddish-brown color that collectors find so appealing. On the obverse side, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. His image had already become a classic by 1950, symbolizing honesty, leadership, and sacrifice. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust," while to the left is the word, "Liberty," and to the right the date, 1950, with the small letter D mint marked just below it, indicating that the coin was minted in Denver, Colorado. On the reverse side, we see the iconic wheat ears that give this series its nickname, Wheat Penny. The words 1 cent are boldly placed in the center, surrounded by the phrase, United States of America, and above is the motto, E pluribus unum, which means, out of many, one. The simplicity of this design and its strong symbolism made it one of the most enduring coin types in U.S. history. Now, while the 1950 D penny might look common at first glance, collectors know better. The Denver Mint produced over 334 million of these coins, so in circulated condition, they are not too difficult to find. However, the story changes completely when we consider condition, rarity of high-grade examples, and the fascinating world of mint errors. Most 1950 D pennies you'll find today show heavy wear from decades of circulation. They might be dark brown, scratched, or barely legible in places. These coins, while still fun to collect, usually only sell for a few cents above face value. But if you happen to discover one in uncirculated condition, shiny, red, and preserved as though it just left the mint yesterday, then you're looking at something much more valuable. Grading plays a massive role in determining the value of any Lincoln cent, and the 1950 D is no exception. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless coin. A 1950 D wheat penny in lower circulated grades may be worth only pennies, but once you get into mint state grades, especially coins graded MS65 red and higher, the prices can skyrocket. Collectors and investors are eager to pay high premiums for coins with brilliant luster, sharp details, and minimal marks. But condition isn't the only factor that drives up the value. Error coins are where things get truly exciting. The 1950 D wheat penny is famous among collectors for several interesting varieties and mistakes that occurred during the minting process. Some of the most desirable include repunched mint marks, where the D mint mark was punched more than once, leading to a shadow or doubling effect that can be clearly seen under magnification. These repunched mint marks, or RPMs as collectors call them, are highly sought after. Another popular error is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not properly seated in the press, causing the design to be struck off-center. Depending on the severity, these errors can make the coin dramatically more valuable. A small off-center strike might bring a modest premium, but a large one, where part of the design is missing, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Then there are double die errors, where parts of the design appear double due to a mistake in the die hubbing process. For the 1950 penny, examples of doubling in the date, lettering, or even Lincoln's profile have been reported. Such dramatic errors can transform a common wheat penny into a rarity worth serious money. What makes these errors so captivating is the sense that you're holding a piece of history gone wrong, a small accident in the minting process that slipped through unnoticed and survived the decades to become a prized collector's item. Of course, rarity is another major factor. While over 334 million coins were struck, the vast majority have been lost to time, melted down, or worn beyond recognition. Finding a 1950 wheat penny in pristine condition is becoming harder every year. Coin collectors understand that as the supply of high-grade examples dwindles, the demand, and the price, will only continue to climb. The wheat penny series itself carries emotional value, too. For many collectors, it was the first coin series they started as children, pulling pennies out of change to fill the little blue Whitman coin folders. Completing a set of wheat pennies is a goal for countless hobbyists, and the 1950 is a necessary piece of that puzzle. This strong collector base ensures that demand for this coin will never fade away. But what about the true rarities? The top-graded examples that have made headlines at auctions? This is where the 1950 penny becomes truly legendary. Coins that have been preserved in brilliant red condition, free of spots or toning, and graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC at the highest levels, can command jaw-dropping prices. These coins represent the absolute best survivors from their mintage and are fiercely contested whenever they appear for sale. It's not uncommon for collectors to spend years searching for the right coin, examining every detail under a magnifying glass, comparing luster, strike quality, and surface preservation. The thrill of finally acquiring a gem 1950 penny, one that stands out among millions, is what drives so many people into the fascinating world of numismatics. There's also the investment side of things. Many see rare coins as a tangible, historical asset that not only preserves value but can also grow significantly over time. The 1950 penny is a perfect example of how something so small can become a financial treasure when condition, rarity, and demand align. Imagine this: a coin worth 1 cent in 1950, casually spent on candy or newspapers, now valued at thousands of dollars in the right grade. This transformation from everyday change to collector's treasure is one of the most remarkable aspects of coin collecting. As you search through your change jars, old drawers, or inherited coin collections, remember to pay special attention to those wheat pennies. Look closely at the date, check for the D mint mark under the year 1950, and examine the condition carefully. Who knows? You might just be holding on to something extraordinary without realizing it, and that brings us to the highlight of today's story. Among the rarest and most valuable examples of the 1950 mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, one coin in top mint state condition with blazing red surfaces and exceptional eye appeal once sold for an astonishing $27,367.